All right, hey everybody, we're doing something a little different today, more in line with the last video that I'd done, some lore-based stuff. And I wanted to start on the at least champion basis with Aatrox. A, because he's really interesting, and B, because he's first in the alphabet as far as the champions go. So Aatrox is the Darkin Blade. He's one of the Darkin, who are essentially ascended from Shurima that were corrupted by the Void during the war with Akathia. Um, Basically, Akathia summoned the Void to try and help in the war, and then that obviously caused all the Void-related problems that we have today in Runeterra. And the Ascended were sent to stop them, essentially, and they did succeed. They actually closed a lot of the little Void gates and stuff that were opened up. Aatrox being the head at a lot of that fighting. Um, it's interesting. He actually, so if you look at Aatrox, he's very red, like which is a little unique to him. The other Darkin don't look exactly like he does, although Rost in his true form, where he overtakes Kayn, it does look a little more red. This is likely because of a few things. So the Darkin are the ones that taught Vladimir blood magic, so they use it, and that's where the regeneration comes from for them. It's not exactly clearly stated about what the the true origin is, whether or not that all ascended possess it to some extent. But it seems like what it is that they had the capability to do it, and then the Darkin just took advantage of it and developed it into an actual type of magic, whereas all ascended just have natural regeneration. They just take it farther. And for Aatrox, this manifests in the fact that if you look at his very red body and his kind of malformed look, that is because this is not what he really looked like, or what he really looks like. He is trapped in this blade. Okay, he was trapped by the he was trapped by people who were taught by the aspect of Twilight how to do that. So, in him and all the other Darkins are the same in that regard. So they're all in these weapons. Whenever someone takes a hold of these weapons using some combination of ascended abilities and blood magic, they're able to take over a host. So what Aatrox does is he does that, and then as he slaughters people on like a battlefield or wherever he is, he takes their bodies and he forms them into his own, assumingly with blood magic, and creates an attempted remake of his original body, but it's stated in his lore that it's not right and it's wrong. So with Aatrox and all other of the Darkin, they start going mad, obviously, when they're stuck in these weapons over time, because as the author in the story, and I'll actually show you, you click here and then you can go, this is on the League Universe website, by the way, so if you want to do some reading, you can come here, and you go to Aatrox's story, and here the author, Austin Schaefer, who they had do his, or Odin Austin Schaefer, I apologize. You can see it kind of describes what it's like being inside of the weapon. And the thing is, they're aware the whole time. And essentially, to just put it in short, it's akin to like being buried alive, where you want to breathe, but you can't see anything, and it's just horrible. But instead of dying like you normally would in that situation, you're just trapped that way. And so after years of being that way, he's lost his mind. Okay, and initially, he's not trying to kill everybody as he's kind of known for now. He's trying to get his old body back through oftentimes killing people and looking for different methods. But over time, he just decides that he wants to destroy the world, because if he cannot die and he can't go back to his old form, then he would rather just destroy everything. Then maybe once everything is destroyed, he'll be destroyed as well, and he'll finally be free. And what this makes Aatrox is kind of a tragic, just a really tragic character who initially was honestly a pretty decent guy, at least as far as Treeman warriors could go in the ancient times in Runeterra. Obviously, there was a lot of issues with them, and they weren't exactly the kindest to some, the surrounding people. But that being said, he was an honorable warrior and stuff. Um, and that's what makes Aatrox, I think, such an interesting character, is the depth that he shows. He's not just some big, slaughter beast, as you might think just from like an initial look at him. There's so much more. And I think it's amazing what they've done so far. And there's a lot more to it, which I really suggest you read. This is just kind of like a brief um, look at what he is and what happened to him and why he is where he is now. Um, he has a lot of connections. He's connected to Tryndamere. Seemingly he wants to kind of groom Tryndamere into a perfect host that can maybe not be destroyed from him being used as a host for Aatrox. Which is why Tryndamere's regenerative powers, at least that's what it seems, is because Aatrox imbued some of that blood magic regeneration onto Tryndamere whenever they encountered each other on the battlefield, and he got basically one-hit KO'd by Aatrox. But he left him alive in order to get stronger and become more useful to him. So, and that's what Aatrox does. He just wanders the land looking for new hosts. Other than that, obviously, there's the other Darkin. Not all Darkin have the same motives and goals. Just like any regular characters, they each want their own things. On a base level, they do all want a host. I mean, that's a given. But they're all very different personalities. And Aatrox is probably the most broken of them. There's a debate there, though, because the Fury came out. So they have to look more into that. But so that's kind of the basis of who Aatrox is, okay? And now I want to go on to what I think Aatrox could become and maybe the future of the character. This is a little bit of my own thoughts on it instead of just what we know. I really would like a future where, because the thing about Aatrox is he can never be redeemed. In a good story, there's no like positive end solution for him. Other than death. So what I think would be amazing is a sort of saga where Tryndamere, he trains, he does whatever he needs to do, and he becomes, more powerful, and then maybe with the help of the Avarosans, he can eventually conquer Aatrox because, at the end of the day, what Aatrox needs most is to be ended. That's all he wants is death. I mean, and everything in his design and the way he plays in the game. In the game, he plays a very like aggressive. He's all in. Okay, he's fighting. He's going in, and that's what he does. He throws himself into battle, because that's all he can do. He's really well represented in his kit and everything. And then on top of that, I think it'd be really interesting to see more interactions between him and other Darkin. I'm hoping to see more stories, where maybe we actually see them run into each other, in the world, just to see how they'd interact. I mean, the thing with them is they were once a group, but it'd be interesting to see if they actually have any like care for each other or interest in each other, or if it's just kind of like in passing, whatever, they don't care about each other because they can't use one another as a host. It'd be cool to see, or maybe even for them to interact with some of the few existing Treatment Ascended on the world right now. That would be really cool. It'd be fantastic to see some more development. But yeah, that's Aatrox just in summary. Sorry for a little bit of bumbling. This is an experimental video. I'll probably maybe do another one in the future. I just want to get used to talking about the lore of League of Legends, which is fantastic. It goes so deep. I cannot recommend to you enough, A, to read this story, and B, to look up various theories on like Reddit and stuff about some of the unknowns regarding Aatrox and other characters. A lot of really cool stuff. If you're seeing this and you're not invested in League lore, you haven't looked at it, you just play the game, I really recommend it. It's better than some books, in my opinion. It's really cool stuff. Really well done. And it's fun that it's kind of open-ended sometimes because it lets you, as the player and as the reader, to kind of formulate what you think might be happening in interesting ways. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in if you did, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to go alphabetically on these initially. I'm eventually going to include more editing and actually doing like video backgrounds and maybe some music and stuff. This is just to throw it out there as a test and just get ready for it. I'm excited. I'll see you around.